Welcome to Sailing with the Jameses. I'm Kate, and this is Sam. And this is our daughter Charlie. A couple of months ago, we sold our house and all of our belongings and bought Endless Summer, a 55-foot Bruce Roberts yacht. We are now living on board full-time while we sail around the world. Follow our journey by pressing subscribe. This episode on Sailing with the Jameses. It is a beautiful glass out morning. We're currently at Brampton Island and we're headed over to the other bay, the southern bay. We're going to meet our friend James today, who's traveling south from Ailey Beach. And for anyone that is interested, this is a Marine Parks vessel. Marine Parks is the one that takes care of all the Great Barrier Reef, the moorings, the walking trails, maintenance, upkeep, keeping everything regulated, making sure everyone's doing the right thing, because we are within the Great Barrier Reef. This is pretty cool. Really nice boat, really fast boat that they have, and really nice tenders on the top. When we were down the Whitsundays with James, the friend that we're meeting today, a few years ago, maybe 3 years ago now, 4 years ago actually, we had Marine Parks come up next to us in the boat, and they're handing out brochures and everything. It was just after a few shark attacks. They were coming around making sure everyone knows how to be shark safe, and not to put your food scraps overboard, not to swim at dawn or dusk, not to swim alone, swim with a partner, just basic things that were really helpful. So they do go up to boats every now and again, and they talk to owners, and they just make sure that everyone's being safe.
Okay, so here we are at Western Bay in Brampton Island, and this is one of our favourite beaches to go to. It's only a high tide beach. You can get to it at half tide. Around about 0.8 of a metre of tide is the lowest. If it's any lower than that, it dries out all the way past that catamaran and out to the side there. So all of this does come out of the water on the larger tides. But we like this beach for two main reasons. Number one is just the spectacular scenery. You're very sheltered from all the winds, and the sand is really nice. But the second reason we like it is this is our laundry stop. So Brampton Island used to have a resort on it, which we're hoping to show you one day. And one of the walking trails finishes at this beach here. And up and behind us we have a toilet, and there's an old redundant barbecue area. Now, with the barbecue area here, there is no barbecue or anything anymore, but the roof is still in place, and so is a water tank. The water tank is always overflowing, so we take our laundry ashore and we can give them a real good rinse and a wash with fresh water here, and it saves us having to make water on the vessel or using the water from our tanks. So we can really rinse it through and use quite a bit. And then when it rains again, it always seems to be full when we come here. And while we're doing laundry, Charlie can play on the beach and make sandcastles in little cities. And if we have a heap of laundry, then we can sling some ropes up in the trees here and hang out for the day and let it dry here. But today we don't have a whole heap, we're just going to do a little bit and we'll take it out back to the boat and hang it up there. But even though it's a tide dependent beach, you always have quite a few hours on here depending on whether it's neaps or spring tides. But yeah, you always have quite a bit of time here. It's only over the low tide that you can't come ashore. And yeah, it's absolutely spectacular.
So as you guys can see, you might be able to see the fish. It's super clear water. It's all sand. Beautiful.
Okay, so this is our laundry that we've got to do today. Come with me and I'll show you exactly where we do it and yeah, how we do it. It's a great spot. There's always plenty of water. So if you are coming through Brampton Island and there's a slight north or easterly breeze, this bay is all favourable to those conditions, being Western Bay. Yeah, you come ashore and do your laundry and use some fresh water. So up through here is also the beginning of some walking trails. So a lot of them all link up. There's a sign over there next to the dunny or the toilet, and that tells you about all the walking trails. Although the resort isn't in use, the walking trails aren't in too bad a condition. You can see this is the beginning of one here. They still, a lot of yachties come here and they'll clear them themselves. So yeah. And over here is our washing station. So what we've got is just a plain plastic tub. And as you can see, it's full of water. So yeah, it's right up to the very top. So with this one here, just got the standard laundry powder.
In this container here, it's not actually stuffed green olives. This is actually eco-friendly washing powder. So we use eco-friendly washing powder when doing laundry to minimize our impact on nature, because we do our laundry out in the ocean and on islands like Brampton. So we want to reduce our impact. We're enjoying nature, enjoying the islands and the Great Barrier Reef, and we want to preserve it and do our best to minimize our footprint on this earth. And also, if you're wondering why we have the washing powder in a plastic container like this, it's because we try to reduce the amount of cardboard that we have on board endless summer. You don't want to have as much cardboard on a boat. Here in Australia we do have cockroaches, but the cockroaches here fly. So they are on land, but they do fly out to the boat. You can get cockroaches on board. They love to live in the cardboard and lay eggs. And the problem with that is then if they lay eggs, then we get little cockroaches and they don't develop wings for a little bit, and then you have baby cockroaches and it's just not good. So that's the reason why when we bought the laundry powder, we put it in this plastic container to not only preserve it and reduce the amount of moisture that gets in it, but also to reduce our amount of cardboard on board.
As we're hand washing, what I like to do is I give it a rinse first, and we'll do that, then we'll add the laundry powder, let it sit for about 20 minutes, then hand wash and then rinse from there. So the first load is in here. And the best thing about this is always when you're on a vessel, you want to conserve your resources, whether it's power, water, fuel, anything like that, because it's a little bit harder to renew. Here, like I say, there's always so much water, and it's better to turn it over. When we first started coming here, the water was slightly opaque in colour because it was been sitting in the tank a long time. Now we've started turning it over and washing some clothes. It definitely lasts a fair bit longer. But yeah, I'll be here washing away and yeah. That was the first rinse. When we do it, we found you don't need a whole heap of washing powder because they're all sort of small, so the standard scoop way too much. Just put a little bit in there. I'll agitate it a bit and then I'll leave it and go for a bit of a swim while it sits there and come back. Okay, time for a little bit of a dip. So we've agitated the clothes for a bit and then we wrung them out, put them on the side here, and now we're starting the rinsing process. The hardest thing about doing your clothes here is keeping the sand out of them. When it comes to boats, sand is the enemy. As soon as you get it on board, it's very hard to get rid of. So that's sort of the biggest challenge in this environment. But yeah. Being able to use water liberally and give everything good rinses and good cleans, it's great. It gets us off the boat and yeah, it's really, really nice. I thought it was a wasp, it's a drone. It's like, geez, if there's a wasp over there, I heard it. So this is it, they're all done. They're nicely washed and rinsed. We've used plenty of water, which is good to give them a really good wash, but we haven't used any of the resources on board. So we're going to go for one last swim and then head back out to the boat and hang them out to dry. And this is how we do our laundry on Brampton Island. Nicely back.
This is the sign for Brampton Island. So this is a map of the island here. Over here is the old resort. It's now abandoned. It does have a caretaker on there to make sure that no one messes with anything. You can see that it has a runway strip. The old jetty was here, but it's now dismantled. And they used to have train tracks for guests. So you'd get dropped off here and the train would take you around to the resort. And we are in the western bay here. And we are now looking at the sign from here. So these are the hiking trails around the island. And we've heard they're really beautiful. So we're planning to do one. We're hoping to go around and check out the resort. And over here, you can see your fishing legalities, what's allowed. And over here is the guide for fishing and everything. And if we come over here, you can see this building here, and this is the toilet. So a lot of people come here, a lot of yachties come here, and they've all been really good. Yachties tend to take care of each other. You can see a broom there. A lot of people have left like hand sanitizer, toilet paper. You just leave it nicer than what you found it, sort of thing. So this is the toilet. And then just a warning, it is a drop toilet. And this is what I was talking about before. You check it before you go in. So there's a gecko on the back wall there. And it's just your typical drop toilet and everything. And yeah, people have left hand sanitizers, brooms to sweep it out. And it just has a latch here. So when there's winds or anything, the door is not slamming. And over here, where we just were, that is the old barbecue area. So there used to be a barbecue where my finger is. They've now taken it out. But back when the resort was up and operational, you could do the hiking trail and bring a barbecue and have a barbecue here. It's really nice that they've left this infrastructure here because you can still use it, still bring food across, do a barbecue, clean up. So we really like this Western Bay on Brampton Island for multiple reasons. So from the toilets here, if you go to the left, you'll see this track that Sam was pointing out. This is the beginning of the hiking trails, and you can see that they've been recently serviced. The last time we were at Brampton Island, we met a couple that were staying here for about 2 weeks. They really liked Brampton Island, and the husband was spending like 6 to 8 hours a day on these trails, and he was taking a machete and clearing them all up, and he was spending quite a bit of time just improving the place. It's really, really good efforts, and you can see how much he's done.
Okay, so we've come back to the boat and just had a bit of a freshwater rinse off and got changed, and the next step is to hang out the laundry. Now, hanging out the laundry on a boat is a little bit different to on land, and the main reason being is if we lose anything overboard, well, we don't get it back. If anything comes off the line, we don't get it back. So the way we deal with this is we find anything that you can thread through, and we thread the rope through it and then hang it up on the back here. We do use pegs on some things just to separate them, and the pegs that we choose to use are just the wooden ones. So just in case you do lose them overboard, we're hoping that it's less of an impact on the environment than the plastic ones. But most of the things we will just thread through onto the line and then hang up across the back here. When we use sheets, we hang the sheets over the rails or over the sheets, which are the ropes that operate the sails, and we will tie them on at the bottom so that they don't go overboard. But I'll get cracking and I'll hang this stuff out, and then we'll show you when it's all done. So now that we've done all the stuff that we can string a rope through that has a hole in it or an opening or something, now we're on to a lot of the more risky stuff, which is our sheets and bits and pieces. So we'll take this up forward and we will tie our sheets to our sheets. See how that's done, and hopefully they'll all stay with us. These here are the sheets on the boat. A sheet rope is a rope that controls the sail and pulls it out or in when you are sailing. And what we do, blanket over it. Spread it out as best we can, and then just tie a knot at either end. Any kind of knot will do. I just use the beginnings of a bow in doing them twice, and pull them fairly snug, but not too snug that you'll never get them undone, and that way we cannot lose the sheet. It's fully encapsulated around there. But that is how we'll hang these out. That's how we'll do our laundry.
So you've just seen how we do laundry at one of our secret spots, like Brampton Island, Western Bay of Brampton Island. When we are not near land and we need to do laundry, we do laundry about every 3 days or so. There are 3 of us on board. We do laundry on the boat in the kitchen in these 2 stainless steel sinks here. Endless Summer has 760 liters of water on board. Freshwater tanks are right below the saloon deck. And we have a few sources of water. So on the east coast of Australia, water is free at almost all of the ports and marinas. So we fill up when we go into port and marinas, and they're quite close. So we go from up the coast into all the ports. We also have a water maker on board. We've got a Spectra Cape Horn Extreme water maker, which does 56 liters an hour. And we use that when we're out in blue water cruising, out in the open ocean, and not near any ports for fresh water. The other source of water that we have, because we do have a water snob on board, Sam back there is a water snob. He likes rainwater. So because we're in the tropics and it is the wet season, when we see that a storm is coming and rain is coming our way, we quickly grab the brushes out the back lazarette and we scrub the decks. And then we take a fresh clean tea towel and open up the fresh water inlet on the deck and then put the tea towel around it to collect all the fresh rainwater. And the reason we scrub the decks is to make sure that they're nice and clean, there's no bird poop coming into the tanks. And speaking of the tanks with rainwater, we make sure that the rainwater goes into one tank. So we've got 4 tanks on board and they're all separate. And we make sure that the rainwater goes into one of them, because if something were to happen and we were to get a bit nasty stuff in there, we do have 3 other tanks to go off of. So we are going to be showing how we do laundry on board Summer today. So these 2 stainless sinks here, we get our plugs, we fill it up, and we grab our laundry. And before we go any further, so there are laundry mats in Australia, and we have decided not to use the laundry mats. That is because we've checked out a few of them, and they are a bit expensive for our budget. They're about $4 to wash and $4 to dry, and that's for your normal 6-kilo washing machines. And for those of you that use the imperial scale, 6 kilos is about 13.2 pounds. So they're just your average washing machines. They're not too large, not too small. And because we are a family of 3, we would be using 2 machines to wash, 2 machines to dry. And then, as most of you guys know, when you dry them in a laundromat, they don't normally go fully dry. So that's about $16 to do laundry for us at a laundromat. So we like to do our laundry on board and save a bit of coin and use that coin for other things like kayaks or some water toys. So we put the plugs in and we start filling. And then we take some eco-friendly washing powder. We put them in the sinks. We don't need too much. And we use both sinks because we can get a lot more laundry done at once. So we will fill both of them with laundry powder and water up to the top, fill them with clothes, and then rinse both of them, and we get 2 loads done at the same time. So that's brilliant. So we'll get started. Alrighty, so that is our agitation done. The next step is to drain the clothes, rinse them out, and then we'll fill the tubs back up with water and do a nice rinse with them all. that was our agitation and 2 washers for the laundry. And before you saw how Sam hung up the laundry outside on the back davits in that area. So that's how we hang our laundry outside. And I'll show you how we hang our delicates inside. So when we're in a bay by ourselves, we don't mind hanging our delicates outside because no one else is around. But when we're in a bay with other people around, we do have a tendency to hang our delicates inside to dry. And when another question might be, what do we do when we run low on fresh water and we need to do laundry? We've been known to take buckets of salt water off from the deck and bring them on and put them in our blue bucket that you saw that we used at Brampton Island. So we use salt water, do the agitation and 1 cleanse with them, and then we bring them inside to do a freshwater rinse. And we only do that when we're running really low on fresh water. So I'll show you where we hang our delicates. So this is our bunk room. So this is the middle cabin of the boat, and we use it for storage, but we also use it as our indoor laundry. So you can see that we've hung some lines up, some VB cord with some wooden clips, and this is where we hang our laundry. Now you might be wondering why we don't have a washing machine on board. We've spoken about it, and Christmas is coming up, and we both agree that we're going to keep an eye out on some washing machines. So if you live on board full time and you have a washing machine that you absolutely love and would love to tell us about it, please do. Write down in the comments what type of washing machine you have and where you got it from, and hopefully we're able to find it in Australia. But we have been speaking about a washing machine which would make our lives so much easier. So thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel to follow our journey. We'll see you for now.